Hey guys, how are you? I decided to do a little nostalgia review today on something called the Holgaroid. It's a Holga camera with a Polaroid back. I use it a lot. I have a couple degrees in photography, believe it or not. And I really had a lot of fun with this camera. So here we go. Here's the Holgaroid. Here it is, the Holga bag. Nobody is more of a diehard fan than me of this camera, because hardly anybody probably bought this bag. It's a camera bag, and what's inside? The Holga. Now it's a plastic camera, much like the Diane. It's got a spring shutter, and everything's plastic. Plastic lens. If you wanted the glass lens, you were going to go with the Woka. This is a great beginner medium format camera. If you wanted to get into medium format, you couldn't do any easier than this. It was a cheap camera. At the time, you paid $16 for them. They're a little bit pricier now sometimes because of the nostalgia value. Now you pull off the back, here's where the film went. It was always good to have an extra reel. You never know when you are gonna need it. And with mine, I had all sorts of gadgets. Let's see here. I had filters, that on there. You needed this for the Holgaroid. Changed a little bit of the distance between the lens and the film back itself, since the film back was a little bit set further than what the normal 120 film was. So you needed this. This is very important. But you also could put on filters, different diffusers, all sorts of good stuff. You can also take that off. You can also keep the cover on, put a little pinhole in it, take out the spring for the shutter, you hold it down, bam, pinhole camera. And that worked fine with the Holga too, with the Polaroid back also. Now when most people think of Polaroids, they think of these. This is the commercial grade Polaroid film used in the 70s and 80s. But later on, and they used something called peel apart film. A lot of fashion photographers use peel apart film to just test exposures. They would take their images off of peel apart Polaroids, pull it, and it would be almost instant. Okay, did they have the correct exposure for that? But the main thing is this. Made by Polaroid, which no longer makes film. If you want Polaroid film, especially peel apart film, you have to go to Fuji. Fujifilm makes all the Polaroid films. Unfortunately, I don't have anything. This is a full frame Holga Polaroid. It had the shield in the top. It opened up nicely. Everything was inside. I actually have an old cartridge in here. This is what the cartridge would have looked like. So it would have went right inside, and it would have had a piece of paper. Closed it up, piece of paper, pull the paper through, and that would have given you your first exposure. Now, from here, you would put it on the back of your Holga, take your normal back off, and it would just slide right on as if it was the normal back, and you were all set. You take your lens cover off, and then you take out your slide, which is much like a large format camera would have. Take out your metal slide, shoot your picture, put your metal slide back in, pull out your paper, you peel that apart, and the chemical side, and there'd be the photo side. Now the photo side you would obviously use as your photo, set that aside, but if you were quick enough, the chemical side you could put on cold pressed watercolor paper, press it down with a roller, peel apart, and you kind of had almost a negative of the image. Now, another thing that was interesting at this time was the Polaroid Creativity Photography Kit. To be honest with you, I didn't get much use out of it. I tried it. It worked great for some people. I was terrible at it. I got frustrated, and I would just end up either selenium, some of the black and whites, what I thought had an interesting feel to them, or just manipulating terribly with some boiling water. Alright guys, well that was my review for the Polaroid Holga Hybrid Holgaroid. I hope you enjoyed this little excerpt, and I hope it was useful to somebody. It was an excellent camera, and I had a lot of fun with it.